Hi guys, it's me, Carrie Silver Lining Mena. And on this episode of Carry On, I'm going to be talking about um well, I don't want to do this one. I don't want to do any of the ones that I'm about to be doing. They don't feel very good. And I'm especially nervous about this one, and I didn't I didn't know I'd be this nervous. And it's interesting to me that I am. Well, it's interesting to me about how I recognize how nervous I am because even though my brain is like over it, my body is not. And my heart has been thudding so much knowing that I thought I was going to do this next week, but I want to get this over and done with. Because these videos are my healing. This is how I heal and finish it. It's like I can't be done with it till I have my say and publish. Then I get to be done. So this is necessary. I have to do this. Before I get started, though, since I'll lose a lot of you, which I don't blame you, these things go for a long time, I just want to throw in real quick that I'm getting ready to revamp my healing stuff. And I don't know what that means yet, but I can just feel myself revving up. So before I do that, I'm going to give you guys one last chance to come and get in on my bargain rates. I don't even have a website right now, so you just have to find a way to message me. There might be links on this video. I don't know. You can come find me in my group on Facebook. I'll have an Instagram. Find some links or something. But right now, I'm such a fucking bargain, you guys. I love bargains, so I would totally take advantage of me if I were you. I'm $50 a session. It's like a 30-minute session, which you don't even need 30 minutes because I'm that awesome. But I like doing it. So also, if I pay for something, I want to feel like I'm getting my money's worth. So I'll give you 30 minutes, even though I'm so fucking powerful. You don't need that much. But $30 for 50 minutes, or this is where it gets really good. If you buy 2 sessions, you'll get one free. So that's 3 sessions for $100. That's $33 a session. I'm at least going to go double at some point. So eventually that'll be like $100 for one session. Right now you're getting $300. I mean the other way. 3 sessions for $100. So if you're interested, I think I'm going to do that for all of June. Look at how unofficial this is. That's how I'm not. I'm going to get my shit together one day. So take advantage of me until I don't have until then. So, okay, check that shit out. Okay, so that's my June special. Come get some magical sparkles from me. Okay, so a quick update. Okay, well, kind of an update. My jaw still hurts. Do I look different? I don't know. Look, I still got like some soggy stuff here. I didn't really go in for the beauty parts, but I'm hoping to get that as a bonus. My jaw's still so tight, so I went in for my 2.5 week follow-up. And I have like my own like syringe there full of Botox, or it's not Botox, it's another one, like a fancier one. And she added a little bit more. She doesn't want to add 2 more so that I don't become like a drooling idiot. And if this doesn't work, then there's a little bit more. It's not a perfect science and everybody's different. I have a feeling that I'm going to need a lot because, I'm fucked up. But I'm on fucking myself, so it's okay. And I still have more to say, so it makes sense that I'm still tight. So that's still in the works. Okay, so this episode, I think I'm going to call it, I don't know yet, but in my brain, I think I'm going to call it Mama Non-Drama. We'll see, but that's what I'm calling it in my brain. So this is going to be about like freeing myself at last, like tidying up that little bow for my mom. And if you'll recall at the very last moment of the last video I did, which by the way, let me touch on that a little bit. I don't know if you've noticed if you're my Facebook friend, but once I published that video, I like calmed way the fuck down about all my, political stuff, which really wasn't political. It's narcissist shit, but I unfriended Larry a couple days later. I don't know if he saw my posts or not. I got rid of his little friend too. And it fell away. It's like, I was so glad to be free of it. So that's why I know I have to do this video too, because there's been something bugging me. But unlike my need to make a big, huge public stink like I did last time, which like matched the the victimization of me. Shh, Kari, you don't have a voice. Shh. I had to say it loud. I had to involve everybody. Don't tell anyone. I told everyone. Well, this like experience like mirrors that or reflects that, whatever. I don't know how to say it, but you'll get my point. Because my mom, she just wasn't interested in what I had to say. She didn't shush me. She just made it very clear that she didn't give a shit about what I had to say. And and so that's kind of how I feel right now. I'm giving that same energy back, but I have to I have to go backwards and forwards. In that video, in that one I did last time, the very last thing I said was that my mom really hasn't given me an opportunity. There's like nothing going on in the internet or in life or whatever else that would bring her to me. So I can't engage with her directly, like I was so perfect with Larry, just to give it right back to him. So I'm going on the next best thing, the other mama. And that's, God, see, I'm so nervous about this. That's Allison, my Shiny Show partner. And she's been like in my energy. And in my group, she like posts something all the time. My group is more about Allison than it is about me. And I'm just ignoring it because I don't want the drama. I don't want to deal with it. I finally went in one day and deleted a bunch of the older ones. Not because I'm like, I'll let it sit there I do it with my own stuff. If nobody gave any attention to it, then after a while, I'll just get rid of it because I don't want stupid shit in my group that nobody cares about. I'll delete my own stuff. It's no disrespect to her necessarily, but I don't want, if people don't give a shit, I don't want it in there. Clean my wall up or my group up. But it's so much stuff in there, and I'm just like, it's a little bit irritating, but not enough that I want to deal with it. But what really irritates me is that I feel like she's doing it intentionally. I almost feel like she's trying to push my buttons. And again, when I sit on my cloud of expanded observation, I don't think it's an accident that I'm getting a little triggered. And of course it's not. Of course it's not. I know that this video is coming. I know that I have to say it. And my intention is not to piss her off. Kind of wanted Larry to see the other one, but I was not dependent on whether or not he saw it. Now, I don't want Allison to see this video. I really don't. But I have a feeling she might. Doesn't that suck? So, I don't want it, but she might not. I don't care if she does or not, to be honest, because this is me pushing through my fear. This is me having my voice. And so, okay, let me just jump right to it. I want to clear some things up because there was a lot of stuff that went on, like when Shiny Show ended. I'm just going to flat out explain why. I'm going to give my side of the story, and then I'm going to talk about my mom, because before I get to Allison and Shiny and just Allison and why I left Shiny, let me just mention, and I'll go back to mom, that the day after I published that video about Larry and the narcissist, Trump, the day after, when I said that my mom's not in my energy, my mom actually texted Robert, my husband, to give him some family news. So she actually did come into my energy indirectly. So I'll share about that in just a moment or several moments. So I don't know what's going on with Allison. I don't know why she's trying I feel like she's trying hard to kind of get in my biz and get under my skin. I could be wrong. It doesn't even matter. It only matters what my interpretation is and what I do with it. Because I'm not really trying to clear any air with her. I don't care. Sometimes I feel like we have people come into our lives and the experience they provide us might not be like reality. It only matters like how we interpret it. And if it helps us grow, then who cares if it was a misinterpretation on our parts. So again, I'm not really here trying to clear the air. I'm just trying to explain my perspective and how it helped propel me, how it helped me ascend. And let me just talk about that. She once asked me not too long ago, I did a little video about what it meant, or how I like ascended. And I was trying to do a little play on words about how, I always do story times and how I'm this show was going to be like the second story, blah, blah, blah. I was trying to be cutesy and clever. And in her own journey, she ascended too in her own way. And she kind of made a post about inviting me to talk about our own stories of what it means to ascend. And I don't know if I mentioned this in my other video, but to me, I feel like we have all ascended and in our own ways. How could we not? I mean, even the people that are stuck in their little, Trump loop, they have had to have some growth. You can't just stay stagnant in every area. So we're all ascending. We're all riding the evolutionary wave. But it does mean different things to different people. So what it means to me is, remember so long ago when we would have like did I ever talk about this? I'm sorry if I'm doing a repeat, but when we used to ask a spirit, when we get opportunities to ask questions, we'd say, how do I be more spiritual? And they'd all say the same thing, just be human. That's how you be more spiritual. And we wanted to know how to meditate better, how to have telepathy, and how to, talk to the dead people or whatever it was. And they're like, nope, you just, you got to be more human. I feel like I am like I'm so superhuman. I do so much human stuff, and I learn and grow and evolve through all my human experiences. I just happen to have so many of them. So that's how I have ascended, and I have such, a big, huge perspective when I climb up in that, on my cloud of expanded observation. That's where I find all my silver linings. So, but she must have posted something in her group or something. I left that group a while ago because she talked a bunch of shit about me. I have screenshots of it. I found it, I really wasn't hurt by it, but I did find it interesting, and I'm not sure why I kept the screenshots. Maybe for right now. I don't know. But what was I going to say? Hang on, I might have to do my pausing trick. I'm going to get derailed because I am pretty nervous about this. Hang on, I'm gonna pause because I gotta refocus. Hang on. Okay, I got it. Okay, so I left her group. So this was a long time ago, but she must have said something in her group because a bunch of people came into my inbox, people I don't even know, and they'd like demand that I like reconciliate with her because they needed the shiny show back. And I didn't say anything because I didn't want to ruffle feathers. I didn't want to rock boats. I didn't want to hurt her feelings or piss her off and face her wrath. And so I wouldn't say anything. But I'm going to speak up now. Okay, well, that started to happen again. I got, some people coming back, and she must have said something again recently because in my group, people started saying, oh, we love the shiny show. And she'd say things, yeah, I'm looking for another host or looking to start something like that. Like, I feel like she's baiting me. And I'm like, good luck. Go find your host. Go find somebody in your own group. Get out of mine. Read the room. I feel like I'm saying that a lot lately. Anyway, okay. She gaslit me a lot too. And let me give you an example of the way I feel like I was abused in that relationship. And if people knew the kind of things that she did to me and said to me and the mistreatment I got, then they would quit harassing me way back then about how I need to, reconciliate or fix the relationship. I got a lot of that with my mom too. Like my aunt would tell me, you guys just need to work it out. My grandma would say, she's your mother. So many people would gaslight me and tell me, and even I had a sense of it's the right thing to do. And when my kids were born, I wanted them to have a grandma. So I would constantly try to mend this relationship just to be shit on again. So here's an example of the kinds of things that Allison would do to me. She had already had an event in England, and a mutual friend, what was her name? Shruti. She kind of found a place for us to have this channeling Eric in England. So when we were going to do our first Shiny Show event, a lot of the grunt work was already done. The place was found. Allison just kind of signed up and did it and sold tickets. Then Allison came and told me and said, hey, I've already got, tickets sold. And I was like, what the fuck? I mean, I'm thinking, what the fuck? And I said, Allison, that's my husband's birthday. And he's a sentimental guy. And you've created some tension between us by choosing these dates and selling these tickets without consulting me first. And her response to me, she fucking turned it around and gaslit me and blamed me and said, "Don't blame me for your marital problems." Can you fucking believe that? I mean, I can't let go of that. I just can't let go of that fucking bullshit gaslighting. It irritates the fuck out of me. What I should have said to her, instead of being so kind, is go on fuck your fuck up, and don't you ever book and sell tickets to an event without consulting me first. I'm your partner. I'm not your minion. I'm not your bitch. I'm your partner. Give me that fucking respect. And she did a lot of shenanigans like that where she just shit on me. Like, she expected me to like book the whole North American tour. And I would like research and research and research, and I'd spend hours and get this whole itinerary and get dates and figure it out. And then she'd change her mind and do a different date, which would fuck me up, and I'd have to start all over again. And I'd tell her, and she'd go, "I don't know what the big deal is. Just do what you did in the UK." And she just wouldn't hear me. Like, I'm not worried about what I'm going to be doing at the event, because I can't even think that far. I'm just trying to plan the itinerary of where we're going. She had like no like consideration when it came to me and what I was doing, and she would gaslight me, and there was like a double standard all the time. Like, she would cancel almost every week because she didn't feel well. I'd be like, I'd stay up late and I'd put my makeup on and I'd be waiting for her to show up. And then she'd message me, "Oh, I don't feel well, LOL. Can we reschedule?" And it'd be 9 o'clock at night, and I'd just go wash my makeup off and go to bed. But when I wanted to cancel because I didn't feel well, or I was having, and I mean, when I didn't feel well, I had her, I was like mutating and having a broken heart over Michael and shit, because that was some really painful stuff, that transmuting. She wasn't transmuting when she called to cancel, and she did it almost every week. So, there's a lot of double standards that went on, and my mom did the same thing. She invalidated my relationship with Michael. Just get over him. He moved on. You do it too. My mom said the same thing about my husband, Robert. I don't know what you're getting so worked up over this guy for. It's not like, what did she say? It's not like you're going to be with him forever. Well, it's been 33 years. Maybe I won't be with him forever, but 33 years is a pretty long time. So fuck you and quit invalidating my relationship. And I'm giving you all these parallels just to let you know. Another thing that Allison did that was, and I don't think she wasn't being like mean with this one. She was just fearful and kind of put it on me. Like, but what my mom did was, there was a big family tragedy, and this isn't a secret or anything. I just don't want to deal with it right now, talking about it. But my mom had a big old feud with my aunt and some cousin, blah, blah, blah. And she wanted me to side with her. Well, I didn't agree with her point of view. But she insisted that I not be friends with my cousins because of it. And I'm like, dude, quit making me not be friends with the people that you don't want to be friends with. Let me have my own friends and, decide for myself. Allison kind of did the same thing. She believed that people's higher selves were attacking her higher self. So she told me that I had to unfriend them. And I really deferred to her because I trusted her judgment. I didn't know enough about higher selves and spiritual attack. I didn't know anything about that. I don't have a fear like that anymore. But at the beginning, I didn't know what the fuck. I deferred to her just like a child would defer to their mother. So I had to really learn, that she was the mother figure. But she was so unfair to me in so many ways. And fuck that. I think that what she's trying to do maybe now is, I don't know if she wants me back so much as the Shiny Show, because it was really great. It was really great, and I loved the Shiny Show. Once the Shiny Show started, like, we were engaged, and I was actually talking to Spirit, the part you guys saw, that was awesome. So I don't blame you guys for wanting it back. And I think that's why she wants me back, was for the success of Shiny. Not me necessarily, because believe me, she wouldn't like me as a partner anymore. I won't be her minion. I won't be her bitch. She won't be able to boss me around anymore. She won't like it one bit. but but before the Shiny, before we got engaged and talking to Spirit and stuff, the other day I was watching, like 2 weeks ago, I was watching Stephen Colbert, I think it was, and he was talking about how Skype ended. And remember the Skype song? He played it. He goes, "This is the last time you'll ever hear this." And I heard the Skype jingle and my shoulders went like this. It like put like so much tension into my body, because that was the sound that, that meant Allison was coming. Ugh, she was so intimidating. But you know what? Like all of the other narcissists in our life, the narcissist mama figures, there was kindness and there was a sense of being taken care of. There was love. There was a lot of good things. And that's where the cognitive dissonance comes from. That's why you stay in places. That's why, you feel like protected in a way. It's so confusing. Because if these people were complete 100% assholes, you wouldn't get entangled and enmeshed and bonded with them. So, yeah, you guys, there was a lot of good, but there was a lot of yucky stuff too. And it was really, really hard to break away from that relationship. So that's what happened. And that's why I'll never go back again, because I'm not about to let anybody bully me like that, manipulate me like that ever again. Fuck that. I've totally outgrown that shit. And again, if she sees this, there may be some kind of retaliation. But you know what? She already retaliated against me once. And I know that, we all kind of lost our shit. Well, not all of us, but I lost my shit. I went fucking nuts over Michael. I thought he was like not even a human. I thought he was some like odd angelic being that was incarnated just to guide me. I didn't realize he was just a regular guy with no communication skills. So many of us lost our shit, right? So I don't blame her for losing her shit. But when she lost her shit and went a little nutters, like so many of us did, she got mean. And I don't even like, I do hold her responsible for getting mean. But my husband, he got really mean. He was very mean to me. But you know what he's doing? He's being accountable. He's opening his eyes and he's seeing the truth of how he's treating me. And he is apologizing and he's being accountable. And that doesn't mean I'm going to stay married to him. I don't know. Well, I kind of know, but I know I have, that's another show. But I get to have him in my life. I get to keep him in my circle of people because there's accountability. But when Allison comes back, or any other motherfucker for that matter, comes back and tries to get back in my circle with no accountability, fuck you. You ain't getting in, so don't even try. I'm not having that. I'm not fucking having that. So let me move on to my mom and just share some stories, because it's just interesting the way the universe works. So I said that, my mom, there's no reason for her to be up in my energy. Well, I have this story that dates back like a year ago, and I don't even know how much I want to get into it, but I started following this guy named Chris on the internet, and he does tarot cards, and he has such a thick accent. Is he from Ireland, Scotland? I don't know, but I love his accent. I get such a kick out of him, and he's been instrumental in guiding me for quite some time. He doesn't even know how appreciative I am of him. Anyway, he keeps on telling me, watch out for the people who gossip. And every time he would say this, I would have two people pop into my life. And it would be my friend, KARI, and my Aunt Betty. And I'd be like, fuck, man, which one is it? Because I was just afraid of it at first. I didn't know which one it was. It could have been both or neither. I didn't know. And then whatever, I just kind of distanced myself from both of them, not intentionally necessarily. One of them just, whatever, it just happened. And then I got that message again many months later, and both of them popped back in my life again. And I was like, well, you know what? I don't care, because I got nothing like gossip worthy. Let them gossip. I'm proud of who I am. So if anybody's going to say anything, say it. But I was leery because of my friend Carrie, not Carrie Walker. This is a different Carrie. She and I we've known each other since our oldest have been little guys. And we've been like in and out of each other's lives. And from my, cloud of expanded observation, I get that we are, we've been really good friends, and then we've like been apart, and we've learned and grown through each other. So I don't really know like the future of our friendship, because I'm sure I pissed her off. I don't know how, but I'm sure I have. She's pissed me off, whatever. So I don't know where I stand with her. I'm like in this place of like figuring it out right now. We'll see. I don't know, because we have so much fun together. She's like my best stoner friend, so we have a blast. But she's pissed me off, so I don't know. And then my aunt is one. You won't remember this, but a long time ago in my other videos, I've mentioned that she like unfriended me, and it broke my heart. Well, she popped back into my life months ago. She has her reasons. They're not important for this video, but I told her that it really broke my heart when she unfriended me. And I really believed at the time that it was because it was for me to have like another lesson of detaching from the mama figure. And I asked Eric, I got confirmation that that was not in fact the reason. And I don't know what the reason was, maybe for this moment right here. But see how we can just like have our filters like give us a completely different experience of like reality versus perspective. And it really might not matter as long as the lesson comes through. The real reason that she unfriended me was because she had a very like painful experience herself. And unfriending me was just a way of protecting her own heart in case I happened to say something that was hurtful or reminded her of a very painful time in the past. So really, it wasn't anything personal against me that I did. She was just being fearful of being hurt just in case of the future. So anyway, we have reconnected, and I'm sure it's been healing for her. It's been healing for me. And we go back and forth. We pick it up. We let it go because, life gets in the way. And so I told her, okay, so she popped into my life again. It's not that she popped back in, because she popped back in, and it's been like a steady back and forth intermittently since she came back months ago. And so I mentioned that my mom came back right after I posted that last video. And what she had to say was a sad story. And she messaged my husband, Robert, and texted him that my cousin, Tanya, I love my cousin Tanya, she passed away last week. And she had been on life support. She had physically, like her health was just fucked up for so many years. She was such a funny girl. I love my cousin Tanya. She's one of the few people in my family that, like, although she doesn't know all of the crazy details, she knows a lot of them. She knows about Mariana. She knows about Avery. She knows a lot of my shit. And she loved hearing about it, and she believed it. So she was like she's probably the only one of my family. Greg knew some of it, but not like Tanya. And again, Tanya didn't know all of it, but if she did, she would have believed all of it. So I really had, her in my corner. I feel her right now. Hi, Tanya. That's so sweet. But she was like accident prone. Like one time she was watering cactuses and she leaned over and a cactus needle right into her eye. She had a really bad car accident one time, like totally flipped her over and she almost died. She had to spend like hours, like her whole life in and out of bariatric compression chambers. Is that what it's called? She was running through a field one time, a grass field, and fell and broke her ankle. She did so many. She was hit by a car while riding a bike one time. I mean, it's like so much fucking shit happened to this girl. A lot of tragedies. So she was on life support, and she succumbed to alcohol abuse. And that's why, I mean, on top of other things, all our other health stuff, she has this wee thing. And so the alcohol really hit her body hard. And I'm making assumptions. I haven't heard anything, so I'm just assuming that her body shut down with complications to alcohol. There's probably all kinds of other stuff. So, what I'm saying is not fact. It's just me using clues and assumptions. Doesn't matter. I'm not talking shit. I'm just talking what I think I know. So my aunt popped in and we talked a little bit more. And I told her the story about how, because she watched my first video and she told me how she can relate to the whole menopause bullshit and how confusing it was. And I go, oh, I did another video about narcissists. And at the end of it, I said how my mom was not in my awareness. And then lo and behold, here she is messaging my husband. And that's my next video is about my mom. And she goes, oh, you're going to do a video about your mom, are you? And I went, and I was like, fuck. I'm like, I just instantly regretted it. And just like the Skype music, my shoulders went right to my ears. And not that I think that my aunt is a gossip. I have to like clear that up. And also the other girl too. There's context to that. Kari, okay, let me get to Kari first. Because when I heard that first message, watch out for the people who gossip. Kari was coming to town and a mutual friend had invited me to have margaritas with her. And there's this whole group of people that they all went to high school together, not me. And so if there's any gossip, it probably wouldn't be about me, but they might all gossip about each other. I don't know. You can call gossip catching up. It could morph into gossip later, or you can just perceive it that way, or maybe a medium's filter would perceive it that way. It can morph into that. So I just was like, I don't know if that warning is about this, this afternoon happy hour and we're talking shit about a bunch of old friends and that's the gossip. Am I supposed to just stay out of that date with those girls? Okay, or my aunt. Let me put this into perspective because again, I think that, she has my best interests at heart. And I don't think she's like some ugly gossip. Having said that, hypothetically speaking, just say, and it doesn't matter if this happens or not, because sometimes I just need to have the process. So when I had this instant fear of, oh no, word's going to get out that I'm doing this show, my mom's going to see it and I'm going to get in trouble. My shoulders went up, So hypothetically, if my cousin were to have a funeral and my aunt went, people are bound to say, have you talked to anybody in the family? My aunt might say, yeah, Kari, I've been talking to Kari. She's doing a show, blah, blah, blah. And that something that just went from information about have you talked to anybody in the family could easily become gossip. So I just want to clear that up. Also, Spirit may have wanted to present it to me that way for clues so that I can know that this was coming up, know that this show's coming up, have the fear, and yet have my voice anyway. Because I can't promise you, again, this is just my perspective. My mom doesn't give a shit, but I feel like she would probably really love to talk shit about me if there was a funeral. She flew out to go see my cousin on life support. And that same cousin, her husband killed himself, and I didn't know. I didn't even reach out to my cousin. I thought that he had died of a heart attack or something. And you guys know my story. You know that I was in some pretty, crazy motherfucking shit. And I had grown so distant with my family that I did not reach out to her. And I felt bad. But when I connected with her, she came out to my brother's funeral. So I reconnected with her and we had a great time. We really bonded and it was very, very nice. We had planned to go on a vacation together and it never happened, and that's too bad. But we did reconnect and have a really good talk, and I apologized to her. I took ownership, accountability, because it matters. And she let me know that she was hurt, but she understood and she forgave me, and all is well. Love her for that. I do not feel a need to go and honor her body. I mean, I already feel her here, and hopefully I'll get a chance to talk to her at some point, and that will be really awesome. She thinks she's an alien princess somewhere. I think she is too. What was I going to say? Oh, so my mom really, insulted me, and I don't care, but insulted me for not going to stepping up when messages were sent to me that her husband had died. And I get it, but I don't know why she's making it her business to scold me for it and try to make me feel bad for it. I guess, she just wants to be mean to me, I guess. So it will not surprise me if the shit talking has already started from her. And another thing, just here's my shit talking about her. If she went out to go see Tanya when she's on life support and about to have the plug pulled. She's known for a long time that Tanya was sick. She told me a long time ago, or passed it on to my husband. And we've all known anyway. We've known for a long time. Why are you going to wait till she's like unconscious and brain dead? Anyway, that's just me talking shit. So don't judge, if you're going to judge me, don't judge me for not going to see her after she's, passed on. Cause it just doesn't make sense. My beliefs about death. You're not dead, really. I don't know. I don't feel like I need to honor that. And if I'm going to go take the time to go see my family, I would really prefer it to be under better circumstances. So somebody go and get married and invite me to the wedding, because that's the celebration I would prefer to go to. I don't want to go and everybody's sad. I'll send a card and have some heartfelt, whatever, but I'm not going to go there. I just don't want to. It doesn't feel good to me. I don't want to go in a place that doesn't feel good, where I don't want to see my mom. I just don't. Whatever. Okay, let me see. Let me go through and I got a really good story to share. Then I think I'm done with this video, and then I can move on to the next one, which is equally yucky. That one's yucky. I'll give you a little hint right now before I finish with this last story. But you know who's coming up in the news? You know how I do things as the world at large does? Well, P. Diddy and Cassie and all that nastiness. Yeah. I have one of those stories. Ew. Okay, so let me tell you this story, since I'm kind of shit talking about my family a little bit. So I took Layla out driving. We had a really nice date, and I've been having grown-up talks with all 3 of my kids, and I feel like it's like the last conversation as a mom, my last mom job, at least in this phase of our lives, as this whatever. And I was nervous to have all 3 of these talks, but they were all so successful, and that will be part of my next video too, the next one. But during this day, it wasn't all business, and I went out and I took her driving, and after I took her driving, I told her this story about, I do have okay, so let me tell you, this is all related, because I was like tripping out about how my cousin that just died, she's not the daughter of my aunt that I've reconnected with, but she's the niece of that aunt. And this is going to be confusing, but I'm just going to use my fingers to like demonstrate. My mom is one of 4 sisters and 1 brother. So the 4 sisters, all of these siblings have kids, but these 4 sisters have now each lost a child. Isn't that bizarre? So I tell him, Layla, this story about how all of the sisters have now lost a kid. My family's been through so much fucking trauma and tragedy that if I didn't know better, I'd think we were cursed. Well, I say we, but I'm going to say they, because, I escaped that shit. And then I have an uncle, and he has 1 daughter. And I don't know how close they are, but I hear maybe not so close. I'm not talking shit. That's just something I heard from one of my family members. I don't know if that's true or not. But I'm going to tell you a story about my uncle. He's the one of the 5 siblings that he's got 1 child, and she seems to be very successful and happy and thriving, but I'm saying that based on pictures on the internet, and from my own experience, pictures are not always the truth. But for her, I hope it is, because she has a very beautiful family, and I just wish her the best. But her dad, when I was a teenager, this is before she even existed, her dad took me out to buy tires on my car. I was in college. And in college, I thought I was a little badass because I took an auto shop class, just the basics. I wanted to learn how to take care of myself. Lo and behold, I became completely dependent on somebody else for decades, but that was not my original intention. So I learned how to change my own oil, and I did that, and I was really proud of that. So my uncle, he was trying to be kind to me because, I don't know why, I don't know. He was just generous in this way. He got me some new tires, and they went ahead and did an oil change. And it turns out that while my oil was nice and clean, my air filter was not, because I was smart enough to change my oil, but not smart enough to change my air filter. And my uncle ripped me a new one and made me feel this big. He was such a fucking dick. And my cousin, my aunt, my nice aunts, my aunts that I've reconnected with, her daughter was with me, and we were both just sitting down with our heads down, and she really felt for me afterwards because he was such an asshole. And what are you gonna do? I mean, he just dropped a bunch of money on my tires, and even if he didn't, I still, he's like this authority figure, this older man making me feel like shit, and I'm this powerless young girl just taking it. Because he's the authority figure. He's the older man. It was horrible. It was horrible. And then after I got done telling Bug this story, after I'm driving now, I'm at this stop sign, and I'm like on a rinky-dink street getting ready to turn right onto a pretty busy feeder road. And I tried to go. I couldn't go. So I'm inching out, kind of going and waiting. I can't go yet. So this guy behind me rear ends me, and it was just a tap, but I can see like in my rearview mirror that he's pissed at me. And I went, and I don't know if I could hear him through the window, if we rolled our window, I don't know what. I don't know why it was clear to me that he was trying to blame me, but he was. So I got out of my car, and then his words are like, I did like a false stop. I don't know what he called it. But I don't care because he's still responsible with maintaining enough distance behind me in order to not rear end me. And if I had to do a stop because somebody else is, I can't go because I can't just go. If I have to stop, then I have to stop. I can't keep going because you feel like it. It's still his responsibility to stop. And then he tried telling me some other shit like there's 2 right turn lanes, and you're like, I don't even know what he's gonna say. I interrupted him. I say, what the fuck are you talking about? 2 right, there's 1 right turn lane. Find the other one for me. I'd love to see it. I screamed at him, and I was like, you gaslighting motherfucker. I unleashed on him, and I realized later on that it was, just the timing of it. I'm like, this is me yelling at my uncle. This is me yelling at the older fucking white man, that fucking motherfucking entitled motherfucker that gets off on yelling at little girls. I'm done with that shit. It felt so good. Bug's out there taking pictures with her phone, and I'm like, there's no damage. Get back in your car, you fucking pussy. That's right, you fucking pussy. Get back in your motherfucking car, you motherfucking gaslighting pussy. I was so mad at him. And then like 3 days later, I noticed that there was in fact a dent, and I was like, fuck. But Bug took some really good pictures, and he had a really nice Jeep. So that'll get resolved. But you know what? Even if we do have to pay the deductible, which is only $250, and I had other damage on there that will have to be corrected, I think we'll still come out ahead. And it was so healing to be able to indirectly chew my uncle out like that, rip him a new one. It felt good. And I know that Spirit brings me these opportunities to do this comparison. That accident was no accident. And speaking of no accident, let me just tell you really quickly was that my last story? Yes. How sweet it was, because some of you may have seen the little post I made, but remember I told you about that guy who does the tarot readings? Well, I have more tarot stories too that I got to share eventually. That's coming up in a few readings because I have some magic to share. But here's a little tiny magic. I caught one of his lives. I don't catch him as much as I used to, and I don't even need a reading anymore because my intuition is truly on fucking fire. I know I got crazy stories, you guys. I got crazy magic stories. As soon as I get through all this shittiness I'm wading through. But I caught one of the lives, and my friend Chris was doing it with 2 other women that I don't know anything about, and I wish I could remember the woman's name so I can tag her. I just went ahead and wrote the story. And one of the women started with the reading, and she goes something like, I don't know who's here, why they're saying this, but they're calling you or they're saying something about, or they're saying hi, something about, sexy bitch. And I immediately went to Archangel Michael because I used to call him Lord Sexy Bitch. But then later on, I'm like, oh my God, no, that's Eric. That's Eric. Because I'm in such like freaking out mode over here, pacing around in circles. I have so much nervous energy. I'm like, I'm having another fucking awakening over here. I am going crazy. And so I'm like walking, pacing back and forth, hugging myself, going, Eric, hug me, hug me, hug me. And my heart chakra's blowing up and I'm crying all over the place. So after like that reading was done and I was just kind of thinking about it, I'm like, oh, Kari, you dumbass. That wasn't Archangel Michael. That was Eric. Eric came in and said, hey, sexy bitch. Because that was one of the first messages that he spelled out for me on the e-board over at Elisa's with Robert. Isn't that sweet? So, thank you, Eric. Thank you. Let's see. See if he puts a sparkle around me. Let's see. Eric, come give me a sparkle. Okay, you guys. Thank you again. If you've made it this long through my story, they're getting shorter. This one's only like 45 minutes. Woohoo! I'm doing it. All right, so I probably forgot some stuff, and I don't even care. I just want to publish this and move on. I don't know what I'm going to do with Allison in my group. I don't know, because I can't unfriend her. I'm not her friend. There's a friend request that she unfriended me years ago. Fine. And then she wanted to add me back, but it's like, if there's no accountability, you don't get to come back in my circle. Like my aunt, she apologized. We cleared the air. So by all means, come back in my circle. I want the people that I love to come back. We make mistakes, but you got to have accountability. If you can't own your crime, then I can't trust you to not do it again. Learn your fucking lesson. All right. Okay, you guys, I'll see you next time on Kari On. I got some more fucking stories for you. Thank you for being here. Mwah, mwah, bye.